congratulations. You got the trophy there in front of you. Western Athletic Conference champs went in there with a chance to claim a conference championships. The guys got the job done.
They sure did. I'm really proud of these guys. They, been a up and down season. We were picked to win it. We finished winning it. That's matters. Those guys are champions and made the plays to do it there Saturday. It's a back and forth game and a little cooler and hostile territory, and always a good game when you play Abilene. And they did a good job, made some good plays themselves, but we made a few more than them in that fourth quarter and were able to pull out a big win. Boy, out of the celebration, the happiness, the joy in those kids' hearts after the game is really, really neat to see, and I think very well deserved. Those guys have put a lot in this program, gone through a lot last 3 or 4 years, and to see them walk out there, some of those seniors as a champion was pretty special.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about some specifics in regards to some of those seniors a little bit later on, but overall in that one, Abilene Christian, you beat them once. It's hard to beat somebody twice in a year. I mean, it's seldom in college football that you play somebody twice, but that was the case this year. We played Abilene Christian early on October 8th in a game that did not count in the conference standings. Beat them on a field goal with no time left on the clock. Chris Campos from 51 yards out. It did not come down to a field goal this time to win it, but it was a drive late in the game. We were down, put some plays together, get down there, and Trey Self makes really, as the play was unfolding, I thought, well, he's going to get it down there close anyway, but he scored. I mean, he like turned on the Jets, gets in from about 12 yards out, and puts us ahead. We're able to hang on and win that. I thought that was an example. Fellas, it's time to get something done. Here we go. Let's do it.
No, it was a play that I designed during that timeout, third down. I said, all right, everybody go out for a pass, get over here and there, and then Trey fake them this way and then go score. I knew it would work.
Wow.
We'll have to ask right now because your voice. I mean, were you? Was it from shouting instruction during the game, or was it shouting that Xavier Gibson was in fact in bounds on a play earlier?
I know those players.
I've given up losing my voice on officials. They're not worth it.
True.
I lost my voice yelling at a bonfire all night Saturday night.
Did you hear that?
We're champions.
He said that he lost his voice.
Yeah, yelling.
He was just yelling so loud that he could talk another sound. He could not talk another sound. He had to let all the air back in his mouth to let him breathe again.
No, there was some. The one thing
He's
about
so happy to be here.
they're consistent.
They are consistent. They have been consistent throughout the year. It seems like every Monday we can sit up here and talk about a play or two or eight that they missed during the game, but there were several. We talked about the particulars of that ball game this past Saturday, Abilene Christian. We knew it was going to be close because we played them, 5 times now since you've been here.
Yep.
And they've all been tight. Jackson won 4 straight now over Abilene Christian. And they've all come down to the final possession before they've been decided. And really, that one was no different.
It wasn't, and it could have been. You know, we left some points on the board in that game. I was really frustrated. I wasn't, at halftime. I don't even remember what the score was at halftime. 7-7. I don't even.
I can't remember.
But I felt confident. I told the guys,
Yeah.
I'm very confident in how you're playing. They had 0 yards rushing. Our defense dominated. Did a great job all night. Got, a couple trick plays got them, but for the most part they played a very, very good night. But we left some points on the board. We missed. We had kicked an extra point. Missed our first extra point in 4 years. That was very frustrating. We had a fake field goal that did not get executed correctly. I was ready to leave that team on. I thought it was going to be a touchdown. Instead, we gave them 0 yards because we didn't execute, and that's my fault as head coach. But we get another field goal blocked on an offsides that was not called, and then we are walking in for a touchdown, and we fumble the ball out the back of the end zone. That's 14 points, and I'm like, why are we having to work so hard? But winning a football game, we say it all the time, is hard to do. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Winning in football is tough, and we made it tough. And I shouldn't say we. Abilene Christian had a lot to do with it. They're a good football team. We're 7-3, and they made it hard on us, but we found a way to make the plays at the end to win the thing.
And that was the whole difference. I mean, it became with about 8 minutes to go. I think with about 8 minutes to go, I made the comment during the game that this is going to come down to, somebody's going to make a play here in a minute to win this ball game, one way or the other. And it proved to be Trey Self really on that quarterback scramble, put us up at that point and you had the sense then, and it was just like you said, even though it was tight, I never had the feeling that we were going to lose this game. I mean, we're going to win it somehow.
Right.
We just didn't know how, and that's how it ended up coming out in that one. But it really, it was one of those things where it's the benefit that you've got all those guys that have been in a lot of battles with you, knowing that they could go and do it at the end.
Yeah, we've played some big games, and guys had a lot of experience. You got a 4-year starter quarterback and a 4-year starter slot receiver there with Xavier, and they were on fire. 212 yards, just those two together. And, Trey had a career night, best pass. What a way to go out!
Yeah.
Not only you make the game-winning play, but you set a career high for passing yards. Your WAC Offensive Player of the Week. You play your best game in your last game, which was a winner-take-all championship out. And so I'm really tickled for him because he doesn't get enough credit for what he's done over the past 4 years. We're very critical. People in general are very critical of the quarterback position. And that comes with the position. I'm not saying you're immune to that, but that sucker came in here and took a program that didn't win many games for several years. And he took us to, a playoff team, a conference championship team, and passed for over 10,000 yards. And in the meantime, and goes out as, on paper as the third best quarterback ever played in SFA uniform.
Yeah, it goes over 10,000 yards passing in that early in the game. I think on the first series, the first touchdown pass of the afternoon put him over 10,000 yards for his career here at SFA. And as I had Hunter Taylor sitting to my right, a guy who's played quarterback here for a few years, and it's you kind of take for granted how hard it is for a college guy who has 4 years to get it done. And typically, you're sitting for a year trying to learn the system. You got 4 years to play, but 10,000 passing yards is a pretty impressive feat in a college career.
That's a long way.
That's a long way. That's a couple of miles.
That is, yeah. And you got to have some great receivers to do it. You got to have a good old line. And that sucker did it with a bad old line. Our old line was terrible their first couple of years here, and
but they're much better now.
He got knocked out of a couple games with concussions there in 19. I mean, the guy took a beating and kept on coming back, and so again, really, really tickled for him. Tickled for Xavier Gibson, who, he turned down some big schools to come here, and he turned down some big schools while he was here, and true definition of what it means to be a lumberjack, and the guy's going to get his degree, go to the NFL, and he'll have a lot of fans back here in Nacogdoches cheering him on.
Yep, Zay will he will certainly get that opportunity to play on a Sunday, and he will bring a lot of things to the table for whichever team that decides to let him have that opportunity on a Sunday afternoon, because he is just, you shake your head. I've seen it, 26 years I've been sitting up there watching him, but I've seen a lot of different players come and go, but he is one that every time he touches it, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he could be surrounded by people. You don't know what's going to happen.
I think every time he touched it over these 4 years, something positive happened for the Lumberjacks. You know what that was, but I mean, that guy never, I don't know that I don't even remember him ever even fumbling. He's so exciting, and such a good teammate, and just the joy in his heart and who he is. And so that was a pretty special moment, holding this thing with him, and he found me and Coach Storm and Coach Plow were the ones that did the home visits there back in 2018 to get him here, and that was a fun one.
So the question is then, you got another one?
Another Xavier Gibson?
Yeah,
sure do. We talked about him in staff meeting today. Yeah. He's out there. You got to go
find him,
and then we got to sign him, and then hang on to it.
There you go. Because that was what Hunter and I talked about during that one.
No, that's so weird.
How special it is to find a Xavier Gibson to start with, but then how tough it is to go find another one.
Yeah, but it's been done before. True. And that's you tell stories like that all the time. Somewhere there's another John Franklin Myers.
True.
John Franklin Myers, before he signed with SFA, was committed to us for about a $2,000 scholarship in commerce. So that sucker, who's now one of the best players in the NFL, he was fixing to go to a D2 school until about a week before signing date. So where is that guy now? You can't. It's not, the scripts aren't written. You don't know who the great ones are based on rivals or 4 stars or 5-star, 247, whatever you call it. That's all a bunch of malarkey. You gotta go out and do your homework and find some players and develop them, and we're looking forward to doing that in the future.
That's again, after 26 years of doing it, it may be a fault in my character, but signing day is such a big thing in college football. But for me, it's just another day, because you don't know what happens on signing day really until 2 years later, because that's when you find out if they can play or not.
Nobody's ever lost on signing day.
No, nobody's ever
you've heard
signed a bad one.
Some guys talk about how great these classes are, and yet there was about 23 coaches fired across the country today.
I would think
Never signed a bad class, but they got fired.
Jimbo Fisher would trade
got
the
fired.
number one recruiting class for about 4 wins right now. No
No
doubt.
comment. No comment.
But I mean,
He'll be in the A&M system soon, so no comment.
you never know. But that's the reality, I think, of signing day. But that's just it. You got to go find the next John Franklin Myers. You have to go find the next Xavier Gibson, the next Trey Self, whoever it may be.
Jeremiah Trotter.
Jeremiah
Find
Trotter.
one of those.
They'll find a bunch of them. Find a truckload of them, bring them here, and you see what happens.
But recruiting's hard to. If it was easy.
Yeah, if it was easy, anybody could do it. You're exactly right.
If there was a exact science to it, Mac Brown would still be the head coach at UT.
You're right.
So
Yeah, but that is just part of the business. But that's the next phase of the business, I guess, for you and your guys as you head into the off season. But a phenomenal year. I mean, in spite of the fact that we lost some games that we didn't expect to lose, did not achieve all the goals you set out to achieve. Still a solid year because, as you mentioned just a moment ago, people take for granted how hard it is to win in college athletics and to win a conference
it
championship.
is.
I crashed into the car.
You said phenomenal. I disagree with you. I talked to staff a little bit earlier about what
How
coulda,
the-
shoulda, but it's a great finish. And that was our motto this year, was to finish. And we got a lot of hype going into this one based on last year's team and what they did. But this was a different team. This is 8 new coaches. We lost 7 FBS NFL level players off of defense, and this was a fitting in for this year's team. And they battled through some stuff. The game almost emulated our season, just highs and lows and some self-inflicted stuff. But they stuck together and got it done, and just couldn't be more proud of them, because football emulates life, and life is not going to go as planned for these kids, and you're going to have tough times in life. You're going to lose your job,
Race cars.
you have sickness, health, family, marriage, kids. It's not always picture perfect, but if you keep a good attitude and keep working hard and putting one foot in front of the other and doing what's right, you'll end up being a champion in the end. And I hope, I'm anxious to see these guys. These guys were fun to coach, but I'm anxious to see where Trey Self is when he's 40.
Yeah.
What Xavier Gibson's like when he's 45. And, these guys are going to be some great people, great husbands, great fathers. And I think SFA and the program and their experience here in Nacogdoches has helped mold them into do that.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. That is the one benefit from being around so long. You get to see I've got to see some of those guys come back. You saw them what they were like when they were 20, and it's totally different when they come back and when they're 45, and you see them again. And they're bringing their son back to start visits to start that career. But it's neat to see.
Or there's some of them that come back 45 and they're in that end zone suite acting just like they did
when they were 18.
When they were 18. It's kind of fun too.
You're right. They're just drinking a better class of whatever they were doing when they were 18. But a great end of the season this past weekend is the Jacks again beat Abilene Christian, finished 6-5 of the year. And claimed
some more hardware just walked in the door.
There's more back there.
Yes.
And it was a phenomenal Saturday to be a great Saturday to be a Lumberjack. Football gets it started with a WAC regular season championship in Abilene. The volleyball team kind of put the cap on it on Saturday night with the tournament championship from UT Rio Grande Valley, as they will be in the NCAA tournament a little bit later this year, or later this month, rather, as they'll find out next Sunday where they will go. And in between the football game and the volleyball final, men's basketball goes South Dakota State. They beat the Jackrabbits, where they were like 103-4.
They're tough to beat at home.
And Lumberjack basketball goes up there and wins. So it was a great Saturday to be a Lumberjack. But we will take a quick break. We'll talk a little bit more football coming up after this quick timeout here on the Lumberjack Sports Network from Learfield.